Welcome to the Bearded Banter Podcast, where we'll discuss everything gaming. So sit on back and listen up. Get your headphones ready, we're gonna discuss video games, it's gonna be fun. A final time for everyone. Wow!
Hello and welcome to Bearded Banter, the gaming podcast where this is our post-E3 show, and I'm stroking your nose for some reason.
Don't touch me.
I am your host, the Bearded One, and with me is my co-host for the day, Bones.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about E3, because it just ended last week when this airs.
It's gonna be awesome!
So yeah, basically, Basically, we're going to do is how we did our E3 special last year. We're going to talk about all 5 press conferences that happened. We're going to go through each of them, what they announced and what they showed off, and then we're going to talk about it and give our opinions and shit.
And it'll be awesome!
It will be awesome. So we're going to start with Microsoft. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Microsoft had a pretty good conference compared to last year's.
It was pretty solid.
They
focused on the games, which
literally,
they said they were going to.
Literally,
so.
It was all games.
Yeah.
It was literally just game after game after game for like 90 minutes. So, what better game to start off their conference than fucking Call of Duty?
You know what? It looks pretty good this time.
So they showed off Advanced Warfare, which is the new one being made by Sledgehammer this year.
Sledgehammer.
And they showed off a bunch of new stuff. Obviously, it has a futuristic setting, so they showed off some futuristic guns.
Okay, I don't care how you feel about Call of Duty. It kind of totally looks badass. I don't really care.
They had jetpacks, which not only allowed them to hover, but they could also double jump.
It was kind of cool.
There was like
fucking mechs.
There were mechs and like spider tanks and shit.
Spider tanks look cool, and I hope that you can drive them.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I really want to drive one.
They had.
I want cyber dogs or cyborg dogs.
They changed up the grenades in previous games.
Yeah, it's cool.
You would have a bunch of different types of grenades. In this game, you have like one specialty grenade that you can like cycle to different modes.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So
cool.
they have like incendiary or like flashbangs, or the one they showed off in the gameplay. They had like homing grenades.
It was kind of fucking awesome.
And then they showed off, there was like a drone swarm flying through the air.
Yeah, what the fuck were those
It was
things?
like a school of fish, but it was a bunch of drones.
Yeah, they were fucking
And then
cool.
they showed off that riot shields are back, and like you can rip off doors of cars and use them as riot shields.
It's totally cool. I don't even care how you feel about Call of Duty up to this point. I'm fucking buying this game, and it's gonna be awesome, okay?
I gotta admit, this one did look pretty cool. Whether or not
it looked like they did a different take on it.
Yeah.
And it might actually be pretty good.
But they didn't show off any Kevin Spacey.
No, but I am very excited for Kevin Spacey. He's supposed to be the villain, which is awesome.
No Kevin Spacey.
If y'all have ever seen anything that Kevin Spacey's done, he's fucking awesome.
So yeah, they showed off Call of Duty. First ever gameplay demo. Then they moved on to Forza Horizon 2.
Which I personally am not interested in, but I mean, some of the mechanics are kind of cool. Like, they've got like dynamic weather, and like some of the cars were pretty badass.
Like
unlike last year, they didn't bring out an actual car.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a step down from last year.
Yeah. But I don't know, I'm not really into the realistic driving games.
Me neither, but I mean, it kind of looked cool.
But yeah, so they showed up. They were talking about, remember that drivatar thing we had in last year's game? Well, this will carry over into this game. I still don't understand
the drivatar thing.
The drivatar thing, it's like when you're not online, like the game will play for you and get experience and shit.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
And then, like, it'll, like, track your progress, and then it'll create, like, a ghost for other players to play online and shit.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
When you're not online, yeah. So they said that's carrying over to this game, and then they showed off, like, dynamic weather.
The dynamic weather would look cool because, like, of how high def it was. Like, you could see, like, all the individual raindrops on the cars. It was kind of cool.
And they also showed off, like, the day and night cycle during the races.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, too.
So yeah, that's all I showed off for Forza. Next, they showed off Evolve. Which is just like...
Evolve looks so badass.
It looked really cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like...
I found out what that fucking monster was. It's Kraken.
Yeah, it's Kraken.
Kraken.
But our inside joke was fucking Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
You watched that for the first time, and you tell me that doesn't look like Cthulhu.
It totally looks like Cthulhu. But
so yeah, this is like... It's like a multiplayer online, like, first-person shooter where it's like a team of 4 fighting one monster.
And it looks so cool. I really want it.
And it's like a futuristic setting, and they got like all sorts of crazy weapons, and they're fighting a giant Cthulhu monster, which is actually a Kraken. And
I think the whole time we were sitting there watching it, we were just like,
Be Cthulhu. Fight Cthulhu. Be Cthulhu. But yeah, this is a multi-platform game, so it'll be on PS4 too, but it will have exclusive DLC on Xbox One.
That's kind of cool.
Next off, they showed probably one of the biggest games this year, Assassin's Creed Unity.
I really want it, and I'm kind of excited for it, but I'm also kind of disappointed in Ubisoft. No, I'm really disappointed in Ubisoft over, like, I don't know if it's a huge controversy.
Are you talking about the female assassin?
Yes,
Oh,
they
God.
said that, okay, making a female assassin would have been too taxing for animators. Shut up. For the animators to do, because apparently the female body is completely, totally different than just fucking copy-pasting another male in. And then I guess the lead animator for Assassin's Creed 3 came out and, like, totally called them out on their bullshit, and they said it was maybe, like, 2 hours of extra work to create a female assassin.
But they also...
Basically, everybody's like, Ubisoft should just come out and say, we didn't add a female assassin because we hate women.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bullshit
but they also
excuses.
Released another statement where they basically rephrased it. They said they took back the whole 2 taxing thing, and they said that in multiplayer and like co-op, because this game is 4-player co-op, everyone is the same character. They said that everyone's going to be the same character, so they said there's no point in having a female character because everyone's going to be the same character anyway.
But it's a game about the fucking French Revolution. The most prominent assassin during the time of the French Revolution was a fucking female. If they were going to accurately represent the French Revolution, they would have made you a playable female. Or at least given you the option to be a female in multiplayer. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
I don't know.
They're just trying to save their asses because they're basically like, we hate women.
Can we talk about the actual game?
Yes. It looked really fucking
cool.
It
looked really cool anyway. So basically they showed off... Well, first off, they revealed that it is going to be 4-player co-op throughout the entire game. It's like you
Can you play single player, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah, they showed off a co-op mission where obviously you're trying to assassinate a target. And they showed, like, all the assassins going through the streets of France during the Revolution, like, the tons of people in the streets, like, rioting.
It was really nice looking.
And then it showed, like, all of them coming together at the end to take out the target. Yeah. And it looked really cool.
It did look really cool. The gameplay was really interesting.
Next up, this was funny, because they showed off Assassin's Creed, and you're like, okay, I'm going to take a piss. And then immediately afterwards, they showed the trailer for Dragon Age.
I know, I was so upset I missed part of Dragon Age.
Yeah, so they showed off a trailer for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Which is my most anticipated game of fucking ever, basically.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this. You're the Dragon Age
Oh my god,
person.
it looks so fucking awesome, and they revealed some new characters, like, later on in E3, they revealed a couple new characters and stuff like that. But it looks so pretty, and I really want it. I really, really want it. And you can play as, like, a fucking Kunari now, which they didn't have before. Like... I guess, like, people are upset because they announced a lot of, like, the romances and stuff, like, the characters, like, what kind of sexual orientation they are, and people are upset, but I'm like, I don't fucking care, I really don't care. I'm gonna cry.
I have literally nothing to say.
I teared up watching all the Dragon Age stuff at E3.
I have nothing to say. But anyway, after Dragon Age, they showed off Sunset Overdrive, which looks
badass.
fucking awesome.
I wasn't interested in it last year because I don't know.
Well, they didn't show anything.
Cool.
They just said, oh, Insomniac's working on Xbox One exclusive. Here's a trailer.
Yeah, but the trailer didn't look that interesting.
Yeah, but then they showed off gameplay and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It's like it showed off one mission where the dude's in a fucking amusement park and he's doing his parkour and bouncing off bushes and shit and like grinding across like the concession stands. And then at the end of the trailer they show him like taking out all the infected. He's grinding across the fucking roller coaster. Oh, I almost poked you in the face.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's like he's grinding up the fucking roller coaster and blowing up towers and shit, and it looked really cool. And they also introduced a new multiplayer mode called Chaos Squad, which is apparently 8-player co-op.
Yeah, I heard.
Where a bunch of cool. 8 players can go online and like do missions and shit. Looks cool. The next thing was fucking ridiculous. Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition DX Plus Alpha.
That fucking DLC for fucking Dead Rising 3 looks fucking badass.
It looked badass.
It looks really cool. It looks like it'll be really fun.
Basically, they showed off a new free DLC for Dead Rising 3. It was basically just a giant jab at themselves. They basically made the biggest piece of self-aware DLC ever because it's like all Capcom based, and you can like it basically turns the world of Dead Rising 3 into like fucking Street Fighter, and you can wear like outfits that make you look like Ryu or Chun-Li or whatever, and you can do like all the bonus stages and crazy explosions everywhere. And they announced right on the show floor that it would be available right then and there. So it's already available on your Xbox One. Go get it.
It looked really cool. I'm not a huge Street Fighter fan, but just the way that they presented it made it look like it would be pretty fun.
Okay, and then Harmonix came out. Remember Harmonix?
Yes.
They made Rock Band and then also Dance Central. They came out and said they're announcing Disney Fantasia Music Evolved, which I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's probably going to be like a mixture of like, I don't know, like Dance Central.
They didn't really say anything about it. They just said, "Hey, it's a Disney music game."
Yeah. I don't know, I'm pretty intrigued to see more about that.
And then they also showed off a new Dance Central game, Dance Central Spotlight, which they said it's going to be an exclusive Xbox One downloadable title at some point in the future.
I'm not a huge Dance Central fan.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't really care. But moving on, and then they showed off Fable Legends, which is the new Fable game they're working on for Xbox One.
I don't even care what you think about Fable. This is my same spiel as about Call of Duty, but I don't even care what you think about Fable at this point. It looked really nice.
Yeah.
It looked really nice.
Yeah, it looked really nice.
And it was a lot. It's not going to be Kinect.
It's a lot different than the early
it is a lot different.
Fable games.
Yeah.
It seems more action oriented than it used to be.
Yeah, and you can fucking play as the villain.
Yeah,
that was badass.
Yeah, they announced. Well, first off, it's 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
But then it's also technically 5-player co-op. So basically, you can have a team of 4 heroes and then one character as the villain. And when you play as the villain, it's kind of like a top-down strategy kind of thing where you set up traps and like enemy outposts for like the heroes to take on. Basically, the villain's trying to stop the heroes from getting through the level, and then the heroes are obviously just trying to get through the level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really interesting, and it looks like they're trying like a lot of new things with Fable.
Yeah, it looked a lot different from the last one I played was Fable 3.
Fable 3.
It looked a lot different, and some of the characters they introduced were pretty interesting looking, so
yeah.
I'm kind of excited about that one.
Alright, next up, they showed a trailer for Project Spark, which if anyone remembers, they announced...
So cool.
They announced last year. It was basically their version of Little Big Planet, where you could basically create anything you want. Mm-hmm. And then they showed it. They didn't show any gameplay, but they showed a trailer.
But it looks so cool.
Yeah, they showed a trailer of like a guy, and he's like a knight almost.
It looks better than Little Big Planet, honestly.
Yeah, it looks. And then it was a CG trailer, and it showed like a guy going through someone's level. And he's like, not bad. Whoa. And then the other chick. The chick who made the level is like, okay, what do you got? And then she played through his level, and they're like, oh, this is cool. And then they showed off like a bunch of crazy shit that people have already made in like development, and it looks fucking ridiculous. Like all the shit they made.
Way better than Little Big Planet.
And then at the very end, they revealed that Conker is going to be in this game.
Yeah,
in some way, shape, or form.
Which is kind of interesting for a return.
I don't think anyone saw that coming at all.
No, some people are upset about it.
Well, they're upset because there isn't a new Conker game.
No, they're upset because they're like, well, you just threw him in there.
Yeah.
But
that begs the question: is like Rare working on this at all, or did they just throw Conker in?
Microsoft has a license for all of it now. So.
I don't know. Also, what's up with Rare? What the fuck, man? But anyway, so they showed that Conker's going to be in Project Spark, which is cool. Next, they showed off an indie game, Ori and the Blind Forest.
It looks so pretty.
I'm
gonna say that about like
beautiful.
everything.
Yeah.
It does look really pretty though. If you haven't yet, you need to go watch like the trailer that they put out for it. It looks really pretty.
I'm pretty sure they just announced this, so there isn't a whole lot to it. But they had a trailer, and it looked fucking gorgeous.
It looks really nice.
And next up was probably the big one, the big Microsoft one. Fucking Bonnie Ross shows up, and she's like, "Hey guys, how about that Halo?"
Yeah, they spend like fucking forever on Halo.
So they announced the Master Chief Collection, which is basically it's going to be a compilation of Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 remastered for Xbox One. And then
Fuck you, Xbox One.
And then they said, It's coming with Halo 1 Anniversary, which it already did. They're giving Halo 2 the anniversary treatment. And then they're just throwing 3 and 4 in there. And apparently it's going to have every single multiplayer map ever made for Halo.
Yeah, and they're keeping, like, the original Halo 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, and they're remastering, like, 6 multiplayer maps from Halo 2. And they announced that each game will have online multiplayer, so you can play on Xbox Live on Xbox One. And each game's multiplayer maps will have their own, like, dedicated servers. And they'll also keep their original engine. So it's like, they're basically just bringing all the Halo multiplayer over to Xbox One, so when the servers eventually shut down for Halo 3 and 4, people can still play them, which was cool. And then they also said, blah 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 to technical specs, 1080p, 60 frames per second. They also talked about Halo Nightfall, which is apparently this new live-action series. I don't know if it's the Halo TV show they were working on.
I think it's the Halo TV show they were working on.
And they said that'll be bundled with the Master Chief Collection. And then they also said that it also comes with the Halo 5 Guardians beta, which I think they announced it was launching in December at some point.
Something like that.
But yeah, and then they showed a teaser trailer for Halo 5, and then they moved on, which was a lot of Halo shit.
It wasn't as simple as they showed the shit and moved on. It took them, like, for fucking ever to get through it.
Anyway, next up, they showed Inside, which is the new game from Playdead, who made Limbo. What did you think about this? I thought it looked really cool.
It looked like Limbo remastered.
Yeah, it did look very similar to Limbo. It's basically like, it's this little kid. It's not 2D like Limbo. It's like 3D, but it's 2.5D, whatever. But it's still dark and blah blah blah.
It actually has color in it.
Yeah, it has color, but it's still very like dark and drab.
Yeah, totally looked like Limbo remastered, basically. I'm interested to play it though. It'll have a different story and stuff behind it.
Yeah, and especially it's a studio that made Limbo. It's probably gonna be good. Like, Limbo was fucking great. But anyway, moving on. Then they talked about ID at Xbox.
I missed this whole thing, so I have no idea what the fuck ID at Xbox is.
Yeah, so ID at Xbox is basically their like program so that indie developers can like self-publish on Xbox One. And then they showed off like a bunch of different indie games that are in development for Xbox One, and a lot of them looked really cool. Like there was one, I think it was called Cuphead, where it's like a 2D side-scrolling shooter that was like in the style of the like classic Disney cartoons. It was really fucking weird. It also looked awesome. And they showed off a lot of games. They showed off like fucking like 20 or so games that are being developed for ID at Xbox. So there are a lot of indie games coming. Let's see. Next off, they showed a trailer for Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
It's a sequel.
I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah.
I thought it was a long shot.
Basically,
shit,
they announced Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is going to be the sequel to last year's Tomb Raider reboot. And they showed off a trailer. And basically, Lara Croft, after the events of the reboot, she's in therapy and she's like traumatized and shit.
Wouldn't you be?
Well, yes.
Jesus fucking Christ, no wonder. But it looks like it's gonna be a lot more tomb-oriented. I know that was like one of the only things I didn't like about Tomb Raider was that it wasn't a lot of tombs. You know what I mean? You're a fucking Tomb Raider, go in some tombs. But it looks like it's gonna be a lot more tomb-oriented, like actual like classic Tomb Raider kind of shit. So quit interrupting me. You have that habit of interrupting me, and I don't like it.
I don't like you. So yeah, they showed off a trailer and they announced that this is coming in 2015. They didn't show off any gameplay. Next up was Witcher 3 gameplay.
Oh, it looks so nice and fucking shit, man. I want it. And, oh my god, so I watched the trailer because they did a press conference before E3. The people who made...
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Was that when they announced the delay?
There's a delay.
There was a delay.
Oh.
It got delayed to February. It was supposed to come out this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, they did a press conference before E3, and they basically, like, revealed, like, the first trailer and everything for it. And oh my god, it looks so great. And if it's the story I'm thinking it's going to tell, it's going to be fucking badass. I have a feeling that I know what it's going to be about. Because it's based on a book series.
Yeah, The Witcher's a book series.
Yeah. And I've read the books, and they're
Did you?
they're really fucking good. They're really, really good. And I have a feeling I know what Witcher 3 is going to be about. I know what the Wild Hunt is. It's really cool.
So yeah, they showed off some new gameplay.
And it looks so beautiful. It looks so beautiful.
And they showed off, I don't know, because I didn't play Witcher 2, I don't know if this is a new mechanic, but they showed off like feral sense with him like tracking like the griffin's blood through the forest.
That in Witcher 2, because it's the only one I played, and I haven't played it all the way through. But you did have like a because you have Witcher senses because you're a Witcher, right? And but not to the extent that they showed in Witcher 3.
So they took it further.
Yeah, they took it further because like in Witcher 2, there's no way that you could track a huge monster like that through a huge forest, and it looked like a lot of distance between like where he started off and where he ended up. So like it looks like it's gonna be a huge game.
Don't you dare turn off on me, monitor. You shut up.
No, but it looks like it's gonna be a really huge game, and I'm kind of excited about it.
Get that shit out of here.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Anyway,
so yeah, they showed off that, and then basically he was tracking the griffin's blood through the forest, and then he eventually found the griffin, and he basically fucking
killed it, because that's what fucking that's what Witchers do, right? They're hired to hunt monsters, and they take like bounties for monsters. But it looks like it's gonna be a way bigger game than Witcher 2, and it looks really, really nice from what they've showed. So I've got high hopes for it.
Yeah.
Other than it's fucking next gen only, I'm really upset.
And then next, one of the big guys from Xbox, I don't fucking remember his name. He came out and he's like, you know, last year
was
when
it the guy who kept twitching shirts?
No.
Oh. No.
You know, last year we brought back Killer Instinct for Xbox One, and it made me think that I love to reboot old franchises from Xbox. So here, we have been working on a rebooted Xbox title that was a fan favorite and a classic from the original Xbox. Here it is. And then the trailer, it was a bunch of people fighting in a park, and they were like, pew, pew, pew! And then it's like, Phantom Dust. And I'm like, what the fuck is Phantom Dust?
Yeah, honestly, they debuted this reboot of a game, and we're both sitting there like, what in the fuck is this game? I've never heard of it before.
No.
But I guess it was a huge cult classic from the original Xbox, so that's probably why we don't know what the fuck it is. Because I had never played the original Xbox, so...
Yeah. I've never
you know what? It didn't look that bad. Like, I was interested in it, even though I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I was confused.
I know
was
a lot
like,
of people
what
were
the fuck is this
probably
game?
excited about it.
So moving on, and then they showed off The Division. They showed
Which looks so cool!
Pretty sure they showed off a gameplay demo of The Division.
Yeah, the fucking multiplayer.
Yeah.
It looked fucking awesome. It really did.
And it's like, this is one of their, like, seamless multiplayer games, where...
people can just drop in, drop out.
You can play it single player, but you can also have, like, a crew that can, like, jump into your game at any time. And yeah... I really like the map system. The, like, holograph on the floor.
Yeah,
that's
was
cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, and it looks like, it looks great. Like, graphics-wise.
Yeah, it looked really good.
So, yeah.
I was kind of excited about... I was excited about that one last year.
Yeah.
And that just made me more, so...
Okay, moving on, and then Platinum Games came out, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because I don't think Platinum has ever, like, been on a conference at E3 before. So they came out, and they said they're working on a new Xbox One exclusive, and then they showed the trailer. This game called Scalebound. And
it looks awesome!
And it was basically this guy in a forest. He was fighting like dragons and mythical monsters and shit. But he was like a really cocky. And then he pulled out his sword and he put on his like fucking Beats headphones or whatever. And he went to town on the monster. And then at the end of the trailer, it showed like a bunch of different monsters show up, like a bunch of different dragons. And then there was a Hydra. So I don't know.
Fucking Hydra. Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck this game's gonna be.
I don't know,
but it's Platinum Games.
Really cool.
It's Platinum Games, and they made a lot of great shit, so I'm excited for that. And then the last thing they showed to end the conference was Crackdown. Crackdown. I fucking told you they'd announce Crackdown.
I know, but I don't know if it was... I didn't personally like Crackdown, so for me, it was like a week end of the conference. But...
I was shitting my pants.
That's just because I didn't like Crackdown, to begin with.
I was shitting my pants.
So I was like, well, you could have ended with something other than that.
Yeah. So they showed off this trailer, and it's basically this gang boss. It's hiding out
Which looks like fucking Voss from Far Cry 3.
He did a little, didn't he?
I'm sorry, he totally does.
So yeah, it showed this group of 3 agents, and they're working together to take out this mob boss who's, like, hiding out in this skyscraper penthouse. And it showed, like, one of them driving a, like, fucking gas tanker.
Oh, you know what the funniest part about the fucking trailer was? Was that, like, the big, like, head of whatever, the police or whatever, was like, we want to go in there with no fucking casualties.
I know, right?
And then they blow up basically the whole fucking city. Like, hello?
I like that. The fucking announcer's like, we want to do this quick and quietly, and then they blow up a fucking building.
They blow up, like
no, here's what happens. Like,
Christ.
one of the agents on the ground taking care of the gang members, the other's driving a fucking gas tanker towards the building, and then the other one's with a sniper rifle. So he drives, so the second agent drives the fucking gas tanker into a goddamn building that they blew up. So it's like, they took down this building, it's falling towards the penthouse. The one agent drives the tanker into the building, and then the sniper agent shoots the tanker, the building blows up, it skyrockets up to the fucking penthouse and takes the guy out. I'm like, if that's...
That is like the opposite of no fucking casualties.
And I'm like, if that's what the game is gonna be like, what the fuck happened to Crackdown? Because it was never that fucking nuts. It was never fucking like that. So yeah, that was the end of Microsoft's press conference. I thought it was pretty solid.
You know what? Like, I thought it was pretty solid. I thought they ended weekly, but that's just because I didn't like Crackdown. I thought they could have ended on, like, Scalebound or something big like that. But that's just me. I also didn't like that a lot of them were, like, there wasn't a lot of explanation for them. Because a lot of the conference, they were just airing trailers after trailers, and I'm just like, can somebody come out and talk a little bit? Because, like, we'll see with, like, Sony and stuff, like, people came out and talked about their games a lot.
But then we'll also see with Sony started to drag.
Well, yeah, Sony started to drag because they had the fucking new head of Sony come out and be a dick about it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but no, I thought that Microsoft, like, they could have had more people, more developers come out and talk about their games rather than just showing trailer after trailer, and you're just kind of like, well, I wanted to hear more about that one.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Next is EA's press conference. That was afterwards.
Sports.
All right,
Yay,
so EA, they started their press conference talking about Battlefront.
Sports.
No, they talked about Battlefront, and it was like a developer diary where they're like, we wanted this game to be as authentic as possible, so we as a company went to the actual original filming locations from the movies to get a glimpse of like what the environment was like, so we could faithfully recreate it in the new Battlefront. And then they showed off some like pre-alpha footage.
Okay, I'm gonna say right now about EA's conference, it bugged the crap out of me that they didn't have anything more solid to show. It just bugged the crap out of me. Like fucking the Star Wars Battlefront thing. They showed me fucking trees and snow. I want to see more of your game. I don't want to see your fucking beautiful trees and your like realistic snow. I really don't give a shit.
Well, let's be honest. How much footage do you think they have to show?
If they've rendered their trees that well, I'm pretty sure they have more to show. Like, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, they showed off that. Battlefront's supposed to be coming out in 2015, apparently.
That's not that far away. They should have had more to show me.
So anyway, and then they showed off the first gameplay demo of Inquisition.
I cried a little bit. Sorry, I squealed.
Check out that peak in the audio.
I'm sorry.
So they showed off like the team fighting a fucking dragon.
Yeah, and it looks fucking badass. And like whoever was playing was switching between characters, and like it looks fucking badass, and it looked like seamless like switching. Because like I know in Origins and 2. You wanted to switch between characters, there was, like, a delay, and there was, like... I guess there's, like, no spell delay either, because there was, like, a huge spell delay between, like, when you cast and when it, like, happened and shit like that in the other ones. It looks so cool! And the fucking dragon looked badass. Because there wasn't that many dragons that you could battle in Dragon Age Origins and 2. There was, like, in Origins you could battle... Spoiler alert! You could battle Morrigan's mother, Flemeth. She turned into a dragon. And then there was the fucking dragon at the end, the archdemon. And then in 2, there was like 1 or 2 dragons, like...
I remember seeing 1 dragon in 2.
Fucking... It's Dragon Age! I need more dragons!
So yeah, I need to sneeze and I'm not going to. Fucking body. Anyway. Oh, that feels weird.
Okay, can I cry now?
Mass Effect!
Mass Effect 4! I know, there was like... like pre-alpha shit, and it looks like the character is gonna be human because he's N7, unless they've let aliens into the fucking alliance.
So they showed like another developer diary from BioWare, and they were talking about Mass Effect, and they said, oh, with this new Mass Effect, we want to do something different. So we're going to a completely different galaxy with completely new characters.
I know, and it looks so cool.
And then they showed off they showed off alpha footage that they were working on, and they were like,
upset
"This is the best Mass Effect has ever looked, and we're working on it, and it's coming to next gen."
And then, oh my god! And I cried.
And then they also announced that they're working on a completely new IP too for next gen.
Which is so exciting because I fucking love BioWare. I don't know about all y'all, but I fucking love BioWare. BioWare is my home dog.
And then they showed off some like concept art of it.
Yeah, and it looked really interesting. I'm really interested to see what it's going to be. They didn't give it a name or anything like that yet.
But let's be honest. Fucking Sims 4.
Fucking Sims 4. Oh yeah.
Fucking Sims 4. I feel like they devoted way too much time to Sims 4.
I don't know. A lot of people like Sims.
They were like, it's the Sims 4. They're even wackier than before. Look at fucking Greg here. He's a bro. And he hates this old lady Gladys.
No. His name was Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
Get it fucking right. It was Chuck. Chuck and then,
Chuck the bro, and then Gladys the
was
old
a
lady.
Fucking bitch.
And
then looked kind of funny.
And then, like, Gladys made fucking Chuck angry, so he threw a party to get himself, like, cheered up, but then Gladys showed up to the party, and then he had a heart attack.
Yeah, but that's because fucking Chuck was a poet, and Gladys, like, totally slammed his poetry. That's just rude. And then she beat the crap out of him because she didn't like his poetry. Come on, it looked kind of cool.
And then fucking he died of laughter, apparently, at the party. And they're like, Sims 4, this time the Sims personalities are deadly.
Oh, come on. You know what? A lot of people like Sims.
I know.
And I like that they followed, like, all the BioWare stuff up with Sims because I know a lot of people who like Dragon Age and Mass Effect and stuff like that also play The Sims. Like, a lot of the people I know who play those play The Sims. So, I mean, it was nice that they blocked all that stuff together. And then they got into sports.
Yeah, sports!
Sports!
And then, okay, so they announced that Sims 4 is coming out on September 2nd.
Yeah.
And then all the sports.
So many sports.
They talked about UFC with Bruce Lee.
UFC, NHL.
They talked about NHL. They talked about Madden.
Game.
No, they didn't, but they talked about Madden. I think later on they talked about they talked about Madden. But, you know, EA, they gotta talk about their sports, so that's when you go to take a pee break or something.
Okay, I was actually interested. They announced a new PGA Tour.
Oh, yeah, they showed the PGA.
And it's
with the fantasy golf stuff.
Yeah, shut up. Quit interrupting me. It was really cool. You could put a fucking battleship in the middle of your golf course, and you could fucking golf during battleship. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. They show this trailer, and this guy's like, 4! And then he hits the ball, and the fucking battlecruiser breaks. Fucking battlecruiser crashes into the golf course, and the ball sails over it. It's fucking ridiculous. And they said, oh, you can do fantasy golf, so you can actually do that in the game. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to golf?
The only time I would ever buy a golf game.
The only time I would ever play golf in my life is there was battleships involved.
It was kind of funny.
And then next they talked about Criterion's new game. Criterion are the people who made Burnout.
They also didn't have, like, any solid
They had nothing to show, man.
Basically, yeah, they had, nothing. It wasn't even rendered.
It was so early in development, it was just polygons.
That's what I mean. The whole, like, most of EA's conference was just, like, stuff that was way too early in development to be showing. Because, Criterion's game doesn't have a name. And the footage they showed wasn't even rendered.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be at least 2 years before they put that out.
Yeah. But they said
it's way too early to be announcing that.
But they said it's gonna be like an extreme sports kind of thing, where it's like, it's a first-person driving game where you can drive all these crazy vehicles, like ATVs and motorbikes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, some of them were way too early in development to be showing.
Yeah.
Or to be,
especially that one.
Yeah, because you're gonna end up hyping them for way too long, and by the time it's released, like...
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
So anyway, moving on. We already talked about the PGA.
Sports.
Yeah, we already talked about the PGA game.
Moving on, sports.
Madden 15!
Okay, you know what? I don't play sports games, but actually Madden 2015 looks pretty, realistic, actually. They fixed, like, all the tackling and stuff or something like that, and it actually, when I watched the footage that they were showing, like, it actually kind of looks like a football game now. It just doesn't look like somebody, like, Because the tackles were kind of stupid before.
It's just like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, like, it actually kind of looks like a realistic football game. Not that I would play it, but...
Anyway, next they showed off Dawngate, which is their MOBA that's in development. What the fuck are MOBAs?
I don't know, and I didn't really care.
Yeah, I didn't really care either, to be honest.
It looked kind of silly.
And then they showed off FIFA 15.
FIFA!
Which they're like, FIFA!
Hey, World Cup this weekend, bitches!
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware.
World Cup, bitches, in Brazil. I guess there's a bunch of protesting in Brazil because of their politics or something like that. Moving on!
Fucking Brazil!
Sports.
Moving on, sports. Okay, Mirror's Edge 2!
Oh, yeah!
That was, like, one of the big ones. They were like, Mirror's Edge, it's all good. And then they showed, like, they're making, like, Faith, the character from Mirror's Edge, they're making her more mature.
And she's totally fucking badass. She tattooed her eye. Like,
yeah,
how much more badass can you fucking get?
And then they showed off some, in development footage of like her doing parkour and kicking the shit out of people.
And it looks really fucking
It looks really cool. It looks a lot like more dynamic than the first one.
Yeah, like, it looked like she had more moves and stuff.
They showed off like one chunk of gameplay where it's like she jumped off a building onto a lower one and she landed on a dude and then she did a wall run off and then kicked the guy and then she wall run across a gap and then there was a pole and she swung like 360 around the pole and it's like, what? It looked fucking cool.
Okay.
I want to play my Mirror's Edge too. I played the first one. It was really fun. Anyway.
Moving on, sports.
Let's see. This is more shit about Mirror's Edge. They're developing Faith's character, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Battlefield. I think this is what they showed off. Yeah, basically, this is what they ended their press conference with. Battlefield Hardline. Which, you were not impressed.
No. Okay, they're trying... I give them credit for trying to do something different, but if you really think about it, it's basically a military shooter. They picked it up and they put it in a city.
We should take Battlefield and push it somewhere else!
Basically, that's what they did. I don't care how different they're trying to market it as. It's the exact same gameplay mechanics. They just picked it up and put it in a city.
Okay, so, yeah. So...
And that annoys the crap out of me, because they're trying to market it as something different, and they didn't even try.
The whole thing with Hardlines is that it's supposed to be cops versus crooks. And they showed off a new multiplayer mode called Heist, which is basically 16 crooks versus 16 cops in this big open map. And all the crooks are trying to like get this heist done while the cops are trying to stop them. I don't know about you.
I've never seen a heist
I've never seen a heist like that in my life.
I know like Twitter exploded with like tweets about how like nobody's ever seen a heist go down like that ever.
Shit's blowing up and buildings are falling over and like there's cops all in the street and there's like 17 helicopters.
And there's like, wasn't there like tanks and shit?
There were tanks in the street and they were blowing shit up and...
But that's what I mean, like... They didn't even try. They basically picked up Battlefield and took it from a literal battlefield to a city. It's really lazy.
I gotta be honest,
honestly, it's really lazy.
When I heard it was announced, I was like, oh, it sounds like they're trying something new. And then I saw the gameplay, I'm like, that looks like Battlefield.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't impressed with the changes. Like, they basically, like Patrick says, you took Battlefield and you fucking pushed it somewhere else. And I wasn't impressed.
But, they also said, the very last thing they talked about in the conference, they said that they're having a closed Battlefield Hardline beta for PC and PS4, which launched at that very moment.
Yeah, I know. He's like, it's open right now. And then
everyone rushes to the site and it fucking crashes.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this is why you don't do that.
Yeah, and then I like how he's like, it's first come, first serve, and then everyone fucking, like, breaks it.
The poor guy from IGN trying to get on in the
post-show
couldn't
Greg Miller, right after because we were streaming on IGN, and they go to the post-show for EA, and then Greg Miller's on his laptop, like, that's fucking working! Oh, Greg Miller.
And that's why you don't do that.
But yeah, that was EA's conference, not as good as Microsoft's, to be honest.
Nowhere near as good as Microsoft's. But I give them credit for trying. Yeah. They did focus on the games.
They did.
You know, and I give them credit for trying to announce, like, brand new stuff that hadn't even been worked on yet. But, you know, it was weak. It was a little bit weak.
Moving on to Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
So, they had the Ubisoft conference. Aisha Tyler, for the third year in a row, hosting this shit.
I love Aisha Tyler.
She was good this year.
I don't care what you say.
She was pretty good this year. I gotta give her that.
Why can Ubisoft have a strong, independent black woman hosting their fucking thing, but they can't put a fucking female assassin in their fucking Assassin's Creed game? I'm just starting with that.
And I don't know about you, but this seemed to be like the mature press conference where they were shitting like shit and fucking titties.
Aisha Tyler was swearing and shit. It was awesome.
And it's like they were swearing in the gameplay too. It's like it's funny because they try to keep these family friendly, and then all the games are people killing each other.
I know.
So why not swear?
I really liked this one. I really liked Aisha Tyler. She was funny this year.
So they started with Far Cry 4, one of their big games coming out this year. Apparently, it was the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Where you're this guy driving up in a bus full of people to like the border of Kyrat.
I thought they were in fucking Russia or something. Apparently,
no, it's in the Himalayas. But like they're at the border of Kyrat, and this guy's like, fake passport.
Yeah.
Use it.
Put the money in the passport. We'll bribe them.
Yeah. So he gives them a fake passport, and all of a sudden they stop the bus at the border. And then for some reason, some of the guys on the bus start hissy fit, and they start fighting the armed dudes outside the bus, and then everything goes to shit. And then there's a big firefight, and then they drag you and your friend who gave you the fake passport, they drag you out of the bus, and they put you on the ground, and they're ready to execute you. And then this helicopter lands, and out comes fucking Pagan Min.
Hey, he looks fucking cool.
He looks fucking cool.
I don't even care that he's another fucking white person. He looks fucking cool.
He's actually not white.
He's totally white.
No, they said he's not white.
I don't care.
You shut up.
He's white.
But anyway, so he shows up and he's like, what the fuck happened? I said stop the bus, not shoot the bus, you fucking idiot. And the guy's like, it got out of control. Oh, I see. He stab you in the throat. So he basically fucking kills the guy, and then he looks at the guy on the ground, he's like, oh. And he picks you up, he's like, hello, chap. And he fucking hugs you and he's like, how are you doing? And he's like, who's your friend here? And he's like, hey.
It's basically like you're gonna be his new fucking best friend or some shit.
Yeah, and he's like, what the and he's like, selfie time. And then you could see the character, and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
I really liked how, like, fleshed out the guy's personality is.
Yeah, he's
like,
really eccentric.
already, even in the first, 5 minutes of the game or whatever. But you forgot the best part. The woman in the bus smacking the monkey in the back of the head.
Oh, yeah, the fucking monkey.
That was the best fucking part.
I know, I thought the best part was the selfie. He's like, smile.
Well, yeah, the selfie was pretty cool, too.
And he's like, awesome. So yeah, that was the first 5 minutes of the game. They showed off the villain, Pagan Min, who, honestly, with the way they're showing him off, I think he could be just as good as Voss was. Because Voss was fucking awesome.
Voss was fucking awesome. And I'm glad they didn't try to, They
didn't try to bring him back. Well, it wouldn't make any sense.
No, I mean, they didn't try to make a villain that was, exactly like him.
They didn't try to replicate him?
Yeah, they didn't try to replicate him just because he worked in the last game.
Yeah, just because he was so popular. But yeah, if they write him right, and apparently fucking Troy Baker's doing his voice.
Yeah, I know. Troy Baker's doing fucking everything.
Troy Baker.
Also, Troy Baker's hot. I'm just
saying. Troy Baker's pretty fucking hot. But if they handle his character right, he could be better than Voss, because he's so far in the first 5 minutes, and he's only
pretty strong.
He's only in there for 2 or 3 minutes of the 5 minutes. He's already fucking an awesome character, so I can't wait to see more from him. So that happened. And then they showed off Just Dance 15, yo! This is me dancing. But
yeah, they spent way too long on this, and I really don't care, so let's move on.
Okay. But don't you want to hear about Just Dance Now, where you can play Just Dance on your mobile phone?
No, I really don't care.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, The Division. They didn't show any gameplay like they did in Microsoft Conference. They showed a story trailer.
The story trailer was pretty cool, but
Fucking
I thought that they handled it better in the Microsoft Conference.
So basically,
they actually showed off gameplay, which I thought was a stronger introduction to the game than.
Yeah. So basically, they showed off a story trailer, and it's like this time-lapse trailer, and it's like showing off this one guy's family, and his daughter's sick, and she's slowly dying. And then because it's supposed to be like a virus. So she eventually starts turning, so the guy had to kill her. And there's no one there.
Yeah.
It's blank scenery, but it's a time-lapse trailer. Blood splatter on the window, he had to kill his own daughter. And then flash forward to present time, he's out on the street as part of the Division, trying to make things right in the world. And then he saves the guy from being brutally murdered by a bunch of thugs. But then the fucking evil corporation shows up with their fucking pyros from Team Fortress 2. And he's fucking spraying fire everywhere, and then the whole team shows up, and they coordinate together, and they fucking attack.
You are horrible at giving summaries of trailers. Anyway, It was a nice introduction to the story. I finally understood like what they meant by, you know, it's gonna be like in New York and crap happened in New York. It was kind of cool.
And apparently there was this virus that showed up on Black Friday and it fucking ravaged the entire city. And I think that trailer was actually on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think it was on Christmas Day.
Which is fucking sad because your daughter died.
Do we even know it was his daughter?
Yes.
Oh.
It was pretty apparent. Or his wife. Someone in his family died, okay? So they showed off that. And then they showed off the crew, which is...
Is the crew... Wait, okay, I know it's another racing game. Is it the one where you can drive, like, coast to coast, and it's, like, a 2-hour fucking mission? Because that one was actually interesting, and I kind of wanted to play it.
So they showed off a trailer, and they're like, the crew is their big driving game. It's another one of these seamless multiplayer games where like you get a bunch of people together
and they're your crew,
and you can just go somewhere. They said that the map is the entirety of the United States. You can drive through all 50 states without one fucking loading screen.
Yeah, they said it is completely seamless.
Yeah, it's completely seamless.
But okay,
and
the
open
thing
world.
was when they showed the trailer, right, with the fucking the 2-hour mission or whatever where you were supposed to be driving coast to coast.
You're just driving?
The parts where they transitioned between states, they cut out of.
Yeah, true.
And I thought that was kind of funny because they're like, oh, you know, you're going to be able to drive between, like, states and you're going to be able to cross borders without, you know, fucking loading. And then the part that they told you was without loading, they completely cut it out of the trailer.
Yeah, true enough. But it looks to be, if they keep their promise, it looks to be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, of all the racing games that got, like, announced, like, I know there's, like, Drive Club and shit like that, too, and, you know, Forza and crap. That actually looked pretty interesting.
That looks like... But then again, who's to say it's not just all driving?
Yeah, but driving, like, completely coast to coast, that's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, and then one of the creative directors came out, and he said there's going to be a closed beta on July 23rd, and the game's coming out in November for PS4 and Xbox One and PC. Next, they showed off another gameplay demo of Assassin's Creed Unity. This was a single-player demo, though. They showed off like a lot of the open world. It's obviously set in France because of the French Revolution, and this one it didn't focus on co-op until the very end, so it was a majorly single player gameplay where he's the assassin's going through the streets of Paris, and he's going into people's houses like, oh, this guy's murdered, I will help you find the murderer, and then he completely ignores it.
Yeah, but I think that was just to, like, show off what you can do during missions and stuff.
So basically they said that, like, France is completely open to you, and, like, a bunch of buildings you can go in. He showed, like, parkouring through windows and running through people's houses and shit.
I like that this Unity looks a lot tighter than the other ones, because I know in, even in 4, you still have that problem where...
You just jump to shit.
You'll be running along and you'll end up like randomly jumping on something, or you'll end up climbing something that you didn't want to climb, and you know you'll end up jumping off of something when you didn't want to jump off of it. Like the gameplay that they showed, it looks like they've tightened that up a lot, and there's not a lot of that accidental climbing and jumping and stuff like that really bothered me about the other ones, because it's annoying when you're trying to run down a street and then all of a sudden your character's flying off to the left to fucking climb up a building, and you're just like, what in the fuck are you doing, Connor?
Yeah, I watch you play 4, and then like that one mission where you're like tailing that guy and you're just bouncing back and forth between a bunch of shit. Yeah, it's
just like, what the fuck are you doing, Edward Kenway?
See, I remember that one part where he was like on the pillar and then he dropped down and he did that like flip.
Yeah.
That looked pretty cool.
That was kind of cool.
So yeah, they showed off some single player gameplay, trying to kill Captain Xavier. And, basically there was an execution going on, so the assassin jumped on top of the fucking guillotine.
Okay, you know what bothered me about that one was that he didn't try to stop it before the guy got executed. I'm like, wait a minute!
It's funny. He's making his way over to the guillotine, and then they're like, and then they're fucking dead.
Like, if you had just been faster, the guy wouldn't be dead.
Yeah, right. So yeah, they showed that off, and then at the very end... It showed, like, all the captain's guards ganging up on the assassin. And then like,
all your other assassins come out. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
So that looks cool. Shape Up!
I'm not gonna lie, for a fucking fitness game, it looked fucking cool.
So they showed off this new fitness game they're making. They're like, fitness is boring and no one likes fitness. Fitness needs to be fun if you want to encourage people to lose weight.
No, you know what I found funny about that, though?
The skinniest fucking dude ever.
No, is that they're like, fitness is boring. Here's a fitness game!
Fitness sucks! Shape up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they said fitness is boring. Fitness should be fun if you want to encourage people to actually work out. So they showed off Shape Up. And it's basically their workout game where everything's fucking crazy, ridiculous, colors everywhere, loud noises.
And it makes it into like challenges and stuff like that, so you feel like you're accomplishing something. Like it's actually kind of cool.
It looked pretty cool. So they showed off 2 different gameplay modes. One was like a running in place kind of thing, but it was like a DDR kind of sim with a sweet remix of Eye of the Tiger, bro.
Yeah, and then there was another one where there was 2 people and you were competing to see like how many push-ups the other like you could get, and like every time you did a push-up, something heavier would appear on your person's back.
So it started with like a sandbag, and then it got ridiculous, like baskets, and then elephant, whale, tank, and it just got fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, actually. I didn't mind it.
Next up was probably the saddest fucking thing at E3, the trailer for Valiant Hearts.
I totally cried. Oh my god. It was a perfect time to, like, show it off, though, because, I mean, like, fucking... The anniversary of D-Day was, I think, last week or the week before or something like that.
Yeah, and what day is today? It's Friday, the 13th.
Ooh!
But yeah, this game comes out next week.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect time because this year's, like, I think, like, the 25th or the 50th anniversary of, like, D-Day or something like that. D-Day was World War II, dude. It's, like, 70 years. Oh, yeah. Jeez. I don't know. Something about that. Is it the 75th?
Probably.
Maybe the 75th. I don't know.
But they showed off this fucking trailer. It's the saddest fucking thing ever.
I know.
And it's like this letter. It's like, Dear Elsa or whatever.
Yeah, the whole fucking game is based on like actual letters that they got from like soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, it's set in World War I, so you know it's gonna be fucking sad. And then the entire trailer follows this fucking dog. This fucking dog, and all his friends are dead.
I know.
I couldn't take it. I saw you tearing up.
I cried. I totally cried.
It was fucking sad. And then the last thing they showed at the press conference was Rainbow Six. They announced a new Rainbow Six game called Rainbow Six Siege, and they had a gameplay demo of it where it was...
You know what? I really liked it until
it was really cool.
I thought about it a bit, and then I realized that it was capture the flag, and the woman was the flag.
Yeah, true enough.
That really pissed me off. I'm sorry, it just did.
So yeah, it was a 5-on-5 multiplayer match, and the terrorists had a hostage in this suburban house, and then this military team came in. They landed on the roof and then went in through the window. It seems like the environments are going to be really destructible because they were blowing out walls and shit. And then you're right.
I thought it was when it started. I thought it was like a single player. You were in a mission with like your like the NPCs, whatever, and you were trying to tactically figure out how you were gonna rescue this hostage. No, it ended up being a fucking multiplayer gameplay of capture the flag with a woman as the flag.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was funny because like the enemy has the hostage, and then like one of the guys from the good team killed one of the terrorists, and then they grabbed the girl, and it's like your team has the hostage.
Yeah, I'm like, are you fucking?
It's not like your team rescued the hostage. No. Like you now are in position of the hostage.
I'm like, are you kidding me? This is fucking capture the flag with a woman as the flag.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Other than that, it was a pretty cool...
Yeah. So one of the big things they showed off, it was like the destructible environments.
Yeah.
Like you can use the environments to your advantage to like tactically like...
Yeah, and they fucking, for one of the parts of the gameplay where they recaptured the flag. They one of the guys blew out the ceiling, and then they dropped down on the fucking guys who had the flag.
Yeah,
and then they recaptured the woman's flag.
Yeah, they moved the hostage downstairs and they barricaded themselves in there. So they're like, "What am I gonna do?" He went up a level, blew out a wall into the kids' room, which was directly above them, and then he blew out the ceiling and landed on them, and it was cool.
Yeah,
it seems this game. Yeah, it seems this game's gonna be really tactical.
I hope there's more flags than just that one white girl. Because seriously.
Did you also know she was blonde?
Yes. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah, that Yeah, that wraps up the Ubisoft conference. They ended with Rainbow Six, which I think was like their biggest announcement.
Oh yeah, I'd heard just before Ubisoft went on that a lot of people were like, at least at IGN, I know a lot of people were hoping that Rainbow Six was gonna come back, and they thought that that would be a pretty strong ending for it, which it was. I mean, it like aside from the fact that it was capture the woman basically.
Don't play Duke Nukem then.
It was a pretty strong ending for them, and Rainbow Six is coming back, which is big. It's been 6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years.
Yeah. A Rainbow Six game. So.
Yeah, I think the last one was Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah.
2. It's been a while. Also, never play Duke Nukem multiplayer then, because they have Capture the Babe.
Wow. What is this year of the fucking sexist video game? Basically, you know what the whole fucking E3 was? It was basically year of the heterosexual white protagonist with stubble.
Shooting people. Yeah, really.
Basically, that was the whole fucking, every game, save for, Lara Croft and shit that.
Let's calm down and move on to Sony.
I'm gonna calm down.
So, Sony was the last conference of the first day, and this one went fucking long. Then again, they did start late, but they still went fucking long. They
started late, they went long, and it was not as strong as, Microsoft's or Ubisoft.
Or their conference last year.
Yeah, or they're not nearly as strong as their conference last year.
Yeah. So
it started off good and it ended good. It was just
they had a really strong beginning with a lot of good games, and then they ended strong with a lot of good games, and then the middle is where they just went.
The middle was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Get this old freaking boring dude off the fucking stage.
Anyway, so they started with Destiny, and they showed a new trailer for Destiny, still coming out on September 9th this year. They also announced that there will be an exclusive white PS4 bundle with Destiny when the game launches.
Look, the PS3 looks really awesome. I can't decide whether I'm excited for Destiny or not, because half of what I see of it just looks like a fucking Halo ripoff, which I understand it's Bungie, but it still looks like a fucking Halo ripoff.
I don't know.
So I will reserve judgment until I play it.
So they said that not only is there going to be a white PS4 bundle with Destiny, there's going to be an exclusive beta in July. There's going to be an alpha build, which is apparently available right now. And there's going to be exclusive content for the Sony versions of the game.
Of course there is.
Which it seems like this year, Microsoft had all the good exclusive games, but Sony had all the good exclusive content. That's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway. Moving on, they showed off a new gameplay demo of The Order 1886. This one was a lot different than the first one. I
think this one actually showed off more of what the game is actually going to be, because, when we saw it last year, I had to actually look it up to see that it was supposed to be, a reimagining of, fucking Victorian London, and it was supposed to be kind of supernaturally and stuff. I think this one showed it off a lot more about what the game's actually going to be like.
Yeah, but they showed off a gameplay demo earlier, a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And it was a big firefight out in the street and out in the open, a lot of guns and violence. This one they went in the completely opposite direction. This one had almost a survival horror vibe to it.
Yeah, which I think is what more of the game's going to be like, rather than the huge firefight out in the open a la Battlefield.
Yeah, so they showed off this new gameplay demo. This guy's in a really dark cellar, and one of the new mechanics they showed is the lantern. He's carrying around a lantern as a light source. And he's going through the cellar looking for this monster. It's a really dark environment. And then he finds the monster, which at first appears to be a zombie, but then it fucking transforms into a werewolf type deal.
Yeah, it was like a fucking transformer, man.
Yeah, and it seems like the game, the actual gameplay and the cinematics are really seamless.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, yeah. It was kind of cool.
So basically, they showed the guy fighting off the werewolf/monster, whatever the fuck it is.
Who the fuck knows what it is? I don't even know. It might have been no, it wasn't a vampire.
No. And it looked really cool. I'd actually really want to play that game.
Yeah. I think that trailer that they showed in the gameplay and everything actually showed up, was more true to what the game's going to be than what they've showed previously, so that was nice.
Next, they showed a PS4 exclusive indie game called Entwined, which it's 2 souls. in like this
It
Neo
was
environment.
kind of fucking really corny the way that they fucking debuted it, and I'm not all that interested in it. Actually.
Yeah, so it's like this neon environment. There's like I don't know what the fuck this game is, but they said it's available on PS4 right now, and it'll be available for PS3 and PS Vita later on. So that's cool.
I don't know. I wasn't that interested.
Next off, they showed Infamous Second Son DLC, which is called...
Yeah, it actually... And it's standalone.
Yeah, it's standalone.
Which is nice. You don't even have to actually own the game to get it.
Yeah,
it's
so...
standalone, and it looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Female protagonist. Female!
Yeah, so they showed off this DLC for Infamous. It's called Infamous First Light. And it's following the female character of Fetch from Second Son, which... I don't know anything about Second Son, so I don't know who this is. But it's following her, and apparently she has powers like Delsin does, so she has like the neon powers. And it's a standalone DLC.
You don't have to have played any fucking Infamous to play it.
Yeah, and they said it's coming out in August.
And it's got a female protagonist! What more can you want?
And then the lights go out after the trailer, and then they all go back on, and all of a sudden, hey, it's Little Big Planet!
Yeah, fucking Little Big Planet. I wasn't all that. It looked like
I've never really been interested in Little Big Planet, to be honest.
Me neither. Honestly. Project Sparks, or whatever the fuck it's called, looks a lot cooler.
Yeah.
And honestly, what they showed off just looks like Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look like any different.
Yeah.
To me, anyway. I don't know.
So they showed off Little Big Planet 3 that's being made for the PS4. It's coming out in November, I think. And they showed off that they have 3 new characters, because in the previous games, you were all sack boys or sack girls. In this game, you have 3 completely new characters. They had Oddsock, which was like a dog, and he could wall jump and shit. They had Toggle, which was like this big dude. He was like the heavy. He could like push blocks and like drag down switches and stuff, but he could also shrink to like go through pipes and shit. And then they showed off, I think it was Swoop, which is the bird who can fly and shit. And you know how a lot of gameplay demos they show at E3 are like pre-recorded, so like they don't fuck up. This one,
it wasn't, and the people playing it really sucked ass, and they should have had better people playing it. I'm just saying.
This one was, honest to God, live gameplay demo, and you could show because they were constantly fucking up and dying, and also there were a lot of sound mixing issues with this. The gameplay was way too loud. I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Yeah, they couldn't. It was like the people backstage couldn't figure out how to balance the mics and the fucking speakers for the gameplay. It was really annoying.
But yeah, they showed that off. That's coming to PS4 this year. They showed off Bloodborne, which is being made by From Software.
And you know what? It kind of looks like Dark Souls. Totally looks like Dark Souls.
Well, this was originally Project Beast.
Yeah. Which
they announced as their new game. It's called Bloodborne. It's an exclusive coming to PS4.
And it looks really cool, but it does look like Dark Souls.
Yeah, it does look a lot like Dark Souls, but who knows? We'll just have to see. Okay, so then they showed off Far Cry 4 gameplay. At Ubisoft's conference, they showed a story trailer. Here, they have actual gameplay.
Did I miss that? Because I don't remember that.
You were there. You were sitting right there when it happened. You just weren't paying attention.
Oh, maybe. I don't actually remember.
So they showed off Far Cry 4 gameplay, and it looks fucking gorgeous. And like they showed off a lot of cool things where you have a grapple hook that you can use because you're in the mountains. So you have to have a lot different ways to like maneuver.
Oh, wait a minute, I remember now. You were fucking liberating a base or something, right?
So it's like they showed off some new things. You have a grapple hook, which you can use to climb rock walls and also swing across chasms. It's co-op. It's apparently 2-player co-op. And they said that
like story mode?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they said that only in the Sony versions of the game you can play with another player even if they don't have the game.
That was I remember that now, and that was fucking awesome because that's fucking awesome.
I'd like to see how they're gonna do that. It might be like a streaming kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd have to be streaming it to the other person's console, and then I don't know how that would work.
I don't know how that would work,
it's totally cool.
But it's cool. But
because then you and your friend can like split on one copy of the game.
Yeah, and then they also showed off the main character taking on a bunch of armed soldiers, and he gets in a vehicle, and you can shoot in the vehicles now, and you can also do vehicle takedowns. Like he drove up next to this enemy convoy bus, and he jumped in and fucking stabbed the guy who was driving.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And then he proceeded to drive the fucking bus off the cliff, But then he jumped out and deployed his wingsuit, which is returning for Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3, it didn't really serve much. Only if you were on like a high cliff, you could use it properly. But here, since you're in the mountains, everything's fucking high up. So he used that to like glide through like this canyon, and it looked fucking amazing. And then he landed outside this enemy convoy, and then his co-op partner showed up, which was Herc from Far Cry 3. And then they got on this gyrocopter, and they flew into the base, and they started taking out the dudes. And then to end the trailer, a fucking elephant just fucking goes berserk and headbutts one of the jeeps, and it fucking blows up. And it's like,
dude,
what?
You can fucking ride elephants. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So the gameplay looks fucking awesome. I'm excited for this game because I fucking love Far Cry 3. But it's cool that Sony got the first gameplay demo. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, they showed this trailer with this guy. It was a CG trailer. It was this guy jogging through what looked like Los Angeles.
Oh
and
yeah,
it was
this
like
one
the zombies.
Was fucking awesome.
Yeah, so he puts in his headphones like da, 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 and all the zombies are going nuts behind him. But then he had a zombie bite, but he just covered his like, fucking whatever. And then as he was jogging, he turned into a zombie.
Yeah, that was kind of awesome.
And then they showed off this is Dead Island 2. So Deep Silver is making Dead Island 2 for next-gen platforms.
Like, actually Dead Island 2, not just like a Riptide or like Rip-Off or whatever.
Yeah. So they said that's coming out next year.
And it looked really cool. The trailer looked really cool. It was really funny.
And then they showed off more Battlefield Hardline.
Fucking Battlefield.
Yeah. Battlefield, we already talked about
fucking Battlefield.
It's not really much else. Disney Infinity 2. They said, yeah. They said
that's happening.
That's happening. They said that apparently in the Sony versions, fucking Marvel characters are exclusive. So like Captain America and Hulk are only exclusive to the Sony versions of the game. That's interesting. They announced Magicka 2, which you didn't know what Magicka was.
I have no idea what the fuck Magicka is. I really don't care.
Yeah, I knew about Magicka because Angry Joe did a review on it. It was this PC game, and it was like a 4-player co-op wizard kind of thing where you could like mix and match different spells and shit. And apparently Magicka 2, the sequel's coming to PS4, which is cool. And then they also showed off that Grim Fandango, again, you don't know what this is.
Nope.
This was an old adventure game made by Tim Schafer back in like the 90s. They said that it's going to be remade on PS4.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
You always know there's going to be Tim Schafer somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Next, they showed off a bunch of titles being developed by Devolver Entertainment.
Yeah!
The people who made Hotline Miami.
Yes.
They showed off a bunch of indie games
They showed off Hotline Miami too.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was kind of cool.
They showed off a bunch of indie games that are being made for Sony consoles. So they have Broforce, which came out on PC a little while ago.
Broside and
That's
God of the Broshin.
That's coming to PS4 and Vita. Titan Souls is coming to PS4 and Vita. Not a Hero is coming to PS4 and Vita. Hotline Miami 2 is coming to PS4, Vita, and PS3. This was the only...
Is it coming to PS3? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Because I thought it was going to be only, like, next gen. And I was
yeah.
like, no!
And then the Talos Principle, PS4 and Vita. So basically, all of these titles are only coming to PS4 and Vita, except for Hotline Miami 2. That's coming to PS3.
That's good.
That's good because I'm fucking...
Because fucking Hotline, man. If you haven't played it, you need to play it.
Yeah, play it. Fuck. We did a Let's Play of it.
Kind of.
That's in progress because we lost a bunch of footage, but whatever. So next they showed off this exclusive game called Let It Die. I didn't really know what this was, but apparently it's a Suda51 game.
It looked really cool. It looked really cool.
I don't really remember it that much.
It looked really cool. If I remember correctly, it looked really cool. I can't remember much.
Then again, you're probably remembering a lot of things.
Yeah, I can't... Wait... I can't actually fucking remember.
Yeah, me neither.
Wait, I have to Google it.
She has to look it up.
You have to Google it.
I'll just keep looking.
Stall them.
Hello my baby, hello my honey, hello my ragtime gal, baby my heart's on fire.
Is it called Let It Die?
Let It Die.
Let It Die.
Not the 3 Days Grace song of the same name.
Wow, really? I would have never guessed.
How are you doing today?
Stall them.
You're looking mighty fine today, even though I can't see you. I'm assuming you're all very good-looking people. How'd you enjoy E3? I had quite a good time.
No fucking clue.
I love you.
Nobody knows what it is.
Apparently
it's a combat game.
Apparently it's a Suda51 game.
I think it looked cool. I want to say it looked cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but apparently it's supposed to be a Suda 51 game.
Oh, they did Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, Lollipop
so
Chainsaw.
it's gonna be like that.
And they also, I think they also did Shadows of the Damned and Killer is Dead.
Killer's dead.
Killer's Dead.
Anyway,
moving on.
I can't remember what the fuck that game is.
Me neither. Okay, next up, they showed that apparently a couple people from that game company left that game company to make their own game studio called Giant Squid, and they showed off their game called Abzu, which is water.
It looked really weird.
It looked like Journey Underwater.
It looked. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looked like Journey
what it looked
Underwater.
like.
And I fucking love Journey, and you played Journey, and you really liked it.
I really like Journey.
So I played Journey Underwater. Hell, even a part of the Journey was underwater.
True dat.
So anyway, and next they showed off probably, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking games at E3, No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah.
So they showed off, apparently, either it's an exclusive to PS4 or it's like a timed exclusive, whatever. They showed off gameplay, and you start off on this planet, and it was like full of dinosaurs, and it was...
Oh, and apparently everybody starts on a different planet, and like nobody's game is ever going to be the same.
So it's
like,
like,
just fucking
so
weird.
like this guy started on a planet, it was full of dinosaurs, and it was really bright and colorful, and then he found a ship, and he flew off the planet out into space. And then there was like this space convoy with like a bunch of different players attacking it. So he joined in and they started shooting at the ships. And then he flew to another planet which was like full of like rocky, like a mountains and shit.
Your explanations are really long-winded.
And they fly through the mountains. And yeah, it looks really cool and it's really pretty. And apparently, like she said, no one player will start on the same planet. The entire game is randomly generated, and there's no loading screens whatsoever.
Which is interesting to see how they're gonna do that.
So you can start on a planet and fly out into space and like fly for like 20 minutes into another planet without loading once. I thought it looked really cool.
It looked interesting. I'd play it.
I liked it.
I don't know if I'd go out and buy a new console for it, but
Anyway.
it looked interesting.
And then here we get to the part of the conference that started to drag, which was all their media shit.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually fell asleep, so I have no idea what happened.
Okay. Well, they said that Project Morpheus, which is their take on the Oculus Rift VR shit, that's on the show floor, which isn't anymore because, E3's over. Next, they had PSN talk, which they talked about a lot of PSN shit. They said that YouTube's coming to PS4.
Oh, way to catch up.
Oh, great. They said blah, 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 yada, yada. They said a bunch of free-to-play games are coming to PS4. Yada, yada.
Blah, blah, blah.
They talked about PS Now, which is their streaming service. They said that there's a beta coming out in July. And they also talked about PlayStation TV, which is this little box. It's a way that you can like stream PlayStation games to your TV without owning a PlayStation.
It was like Microsoft's fucking conference last year.
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
They said that PlayStation TV is coming out for $100, and for $140 you can get like this big bundle that comes with like a controller and a headset and like Lego the Movie game.
With your TV.
Yep. And basically, this is the part of the conference that just dragged on and on and on. And I was like, shut up, please.
I was like, Jesus fucking
Get
Christ.
back to the games.
Yes.
And then they got back to the games for a little bit. They showed off Mortal Kombat X. Which you don't care about Mortal Kombat, but I thought it was fucking cool. Which,
But there was like no wind in your sails for that one because it had been announced already.
Yeah, but this trailer basically proved that trailer they showed like last week that was supposedly gameplay was utter bullshit because it looked nothing like that. Fuck you.
But it also showed that the trailer that they showed during Sony's conference, it looks exactly the same as fucking any Mortal Kombat. So just go play a Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
You don't even have to wait for Axe, honestly.
Then they talked about powers for like 20 minutes.
Yes.
It's like this comic book show.
And I really didn't care. I wasn't interested. I really didn't care.
It was like this comic book show.
I fell asleep
and
during that one too.
And they're like, hey, this is going to be exclusive on PlayStation TV and shit. And PS Plus members, well, anyone any Sony user gets the first episode for free. But if you're a PS Plus subscriber, you get the entire series for fucking free when it comes out. In the US.
In the US only.
So fuck you, Europe.
But and Canada.
So fuck you, Europe.
And Canada.
So fuck you, Europe.
You're an idiot. But anyway, I wasn't interested. I also fell asleep during that one, so.
Good. Next, they showed the first fucking trailer for the Ratchet and Clank movie, which I was fucking excited for.
I was sleeping.
Because they announced it last April, and then they haven't shown anything until now. So they showed off the first trailer. Apparently, this movie's supposed to be, like, recreating the events from the original game, but it looks completely different.
It looked like a reboot, though.
Yeah.
It looked like...
Because it was like, in the original game, Clank was, like, looking for Captain Quark, and then Ratchet got thrown into it. In this game, apparently, Ratchet wants to be a hero, and he's like, Captain Quark, can I be your sidekick? And he's like, no. And then Clank shows up, and it's like, okay, whatever. So they showed that. And they didn't focus much on it, but they said that apparently... a remake of the original Ratchet and Clank is coming to PS4 at some point.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Then they showed off The Last of Us Remastered, which honestly, who cares?
They devoted a ton of time to a game that's already out, that a majority of people have already played. Like, show me something new. Why waste that fucking block of time showing off The Last of Us? I was so angry about that. They wasted so much time and all the technical bullshit with fucking Apple TV with a PS4 logo slapped on it and fucking whatever their fucking superhero show is. And then they fucking go into fucking The Last of Us rebooted for fucking PS4. Who cares? Everybody who's played the game has already, like, was going to play the game has already fucking played it.
Yeah, true enough.
Jesus fucking Christ. I don't really care. And... what also pissed me off was that their fucking trailer had spoilers in it.
Yeah, right.
Like, why would you debut a trailer for a game that you're rebooting that you're marketing to people who haven't played it yet, basically, is what the market's going to be. People who got a PS4 and never played fucking The Last of Us for PS3, and you put spoilers in your trailer.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
At the very beginning, they're like, spoilers in this trailer, and the very first thing they show is, like, the first fucking big thing that happens in the game. And it's like, I saw spoilers, and I was like, oh fuck, I muted the TV for, like, the duration of that trailer.
But that was so stupid, because your only market for that remaster is people who really fucking like their PS4, or people who bought a PS4 and never played The Last of Us for PS3.
Yeah.
And you're right away fucking spoiling shit? Like, are you dumb?
No, kind of. And next, they showed a fucking story trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, and I gotta be honest, what the fuck is happening in this trailer?
What the fuck is Metal Gear Solid? Like,
who am I?
I don't even understand what the whole story is, but the fucking trailer looks badass. Oh my god.
Like, it looked badass, but I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I had no idea what was
happening, but honestly, the Phantom Pain looks fucking awesome.
So yeah, they showed that. Oh, and the guy I'm reading on this, he's like, excitement factor 10. I'm like, okay, dude.
Calm down, put it back in your pants.
And then next, they showed GTA 5 coming to PS4.
Which pissed me off, because why are you devoting your fucking E3 conference to games that have already come out? I'm sorry. But it really made me mad.
But one interesting thing they said, in the PS4 version, you can obviously transfer your save files from the PS3 or the Xbox 360 to the PS4.
Why? Oh my god, this pissed me off so much. Because, okay, that's a cool feature, but why do you have to devote time in your fucking big E3 press conference to that shit? Why? I just don't understand it. And who the fuck is gonna go out? Okay, just hypothetically speaking, who's going to have already gone out and bought GTA 5 for either PS3 or 360, played through the whole fucking game, done all the multiplayer shit that you could possibly ever want to do, and then go out and buy it again? Who the fuck is gonna do that? If you're going to do that, comment, because I'm gonna re-comment and call you stupid.
Okay then. You heard it from Bones.
Because that's fucking dumb. That's almost as dumb as me buying Mass Effect 3 twice. Because I wanted the collector's edition. Shut the fuck up.
It was fucking dumb. And the fact that you wanted to buy the trilogy when you already had all 3, and you bought 3 twice.
I bought 3 twice because I got the collector's edition, okay?
Yeah, I remember that.
I know.
Fucking summer 2012, we went to Walmart, and I'm like,
But
hey.
I understand the magnitude of my stupidity, and honestly, if you buy fucking GTA 5 twice, I'm gonna fucking call you stupid.
Summer 2012, we go to Walmart, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get Borderlands.
But there's nothing different about it. You know what I mean? Like, if there was something awesome that they were doing different with it, like they were adding a bunch of content, or they were adding something else, yeah, fuck, go out and buy it again. I fucking bought the collector's edition of Mass Effect 3. When I already had Mass Effect 3.
Collector's Edition Mass Effect 3.
What? Shut the fuck up.
Anyway,
it's fucking dumb, and I really hated that they devoted time in their fucking press conference to it.
And then later in the week, they said that it's not only coming to PS4, but also Xbox One and PC.
I'm gonna fucking kill them all.
Well, it never came to PC, so.
I'm just gonna fucking kill them all.
Anyway.
I don't care, like, honestly.
Next. Okay, these are the last 2 things. And then we fucking
And then I'm gonna
wrap
go
up
calm
Sony.
down.
Batman! Arkham Knight. They showed off the first ever gameplay demo,
Okay,
which
and it looks
fucking awesome.
The fucking if you haven't watched the gameplay demo, you need to go and watch it because honestly, just the fucking city when he was standing on top, because he's got like this fucking awesome bachelor pad of awesomeness.
Yeah,
and he
true.
walks out onto his balcony and he climbs up on the thing
and the whole fucking city.
Just the expanse of Gotham City and like the detail that went into it, and it's fucking huge. And apparently you can fly off into all the like the distant shit too. Like, it's huge.
Okay,
this game is fucking awesome.
Think about it. Arkham Asylum, you were confined to the Asylum. Arkham City, you were confined to Arkham City. Arkham Origins, I don't fucking know because we didn't play that. But I don't think in any of the Batman Arkham games you ever had the entire city to yourself.
Yeah, when Batman walks out onto his fucking balcony and he climbs up onto the railing and you just see the entirety of fucking Gotham City, it's amazing.
So basically, gameplay demo, he jumps off his balcony, does a fucking dive bomb, and then starts gliding around the city with his fucking Batcape.
Yeah.
And then he lands in the city street. Here comes the fucking Batmobile. He jumps in that shit, and he just starts driving around Gotham.
And it becomes a tank and everything. But just like him, like fucking paragliding through
that was
Gotham
fucking amazing.
and just driving, like even in like the little bit of gameplay that they showed, that was you and like the character in the city. Like, it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge. There's gonna be hours and hours of just like you going around the city exploring everything because it's fucking massive.
Just imagine, okay, remember the Riddler stuff?
Yeah.
Just imagine
the
Riddler stuff.
Jesus Christ.
If they keep doing it.
It's gonna take you forever to do the fucking Riddler shit.
Apparently in Arkham City, if you got all the Riddler shit, you fought the Riddler.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We never did that because it was like fucking a ton of shit.
Oh my god.
But
the
anyway.
Riddler missions were so long.
Yeah, but
And you had to be smart about it to figure out where the fucking
those challenge rooms, too, were fucking ridiculous.
Oh, God, yeah.
But anyway, so Arkham Knight, they showed Batman paragliding around the city. They showed him driving the Batmobile through the streets and alleys. And then, apparently, the Batmobile transforms into a bat tank.
Yeah,
and, like, the whole thing about Batman... The whole thing about Batman is he doesn't kill.
Yeah, but
and then he's blowing shit up in a bat tank.
Yeah, he was totally fucking blowing people up.
Yeah.
People died in that gameplay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the whole thing about Batman is he doesn't kill. He always does, like, non-lethal takedowns. And then he drives the fucking bat tank and starts blowing people up.
This time, he's Arkham Knight, man. He's fucking killing
That fucking
people.
bat armor, too.
Oh my god.
But anyway,
Because,
so...
like, the first little bit was just, like, him getting his armor on, right? Because it was...
And it's all, like, latching together and shit.
It was, like, a CG, like, kind of thing, and then it transitioned into gameplay. The fucking armor was even awesome. Like, I was like, I want to touch that.
Yeah. But anyway, no bat nipples either.
No bat nipples, yeah.
But anyway, so... He showed off a bunch of stuff, him paragliding, him driving the Batmobile transforming into a tank, and then transforming back into the Batmobile, and then he drives down a long stretch of road, and then, like, ejects himself out of the Batmobile and starts gliding around again. And then he gets to this one warehouse or some shit, and he takes out, then they show a little bit of combat, and he takes out, like, a bunch of goons and whatever, and then he goes into this air vent, and there's the Penguin in this room with, like, a hostage, and then... the game starts like glitching up.
Yeah, we thought it was like
Yeah.
fucking technical difficulties, and we were like, of course, fucking Sony's got fucking
Yeah.
technical
So
difficulties.
it's like, they show the gameplay. He's going after Penguin, and then the game starts like locking up, and there's like glitches everywhere. And then they cut out to like the press conference, like the theater, and like all the lights are going haywire. And so he does a takedown on the Penguin, and the game just like freezes, and then it cuts out, and then out pops Scarecrow.
Which
and I'm
was
like,
awesome.
that was perfect bait and
Yes.
switch.
Because I honestly thought that they were having, like, fucking technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course, fucking Sony can't go through a fucking press conference without having issues.
Yeah.
They already had fucking
Audio issues.
audio issues with Little Big Planet 3.
But yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice.
But yeah,
That was
and then
cool.
Scarecrow pops up. So Scarecrow will be in Arkham Knight, and they said that exclusive to the PS4 version, there will be nightmare missions with Scarecrow, which the Scarecrow missions in Arkham Asylum were like the best parts of the game. So
They were fucking creepy.
yeah,
And really creepy. And the creepiest shit ever.
I remember the one where you're just walking through like the endless hallway, and then it turns into the fucking alley, and then you
I
turn
know.
into little Bruce Wayne,
I
and
know.
like there are your parents. And I'm like, fuck. So yeah, they announced that, and then they're like, well, that's the Sony press conference, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. But we have one more game to show you. Have a wonderful E3. And then it cuts to black, and it's like, Sony Computer Entertainment presents
Naughty Dog!
So we were speculating, either, like, the big thing they have to show in this was either Uncharted 4 or The Last Guardian.
I love that they showed Uncharted 4, but I was really hoping for The Last Guardian because that would have, like, basically erased all their mistakes.
Yeah.
And basically they would have won the whole fucking E3 week.
And then...
But they didn't. But,
Yeah, but
fucking
the thing-
Uncharted 4!
Yeah, but the thing with The Last Guardian is that, like, it just recently had, like, rumors of, like, official cancellation that were
Yeah,
proven
but then
wrong.
the fucking, I think the lead developer or something came out and said, no, it's still in development, like, we're still working on it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, E3 is coming up. And
You
you're
would
gonna
think-
fucking show The Last Guardian because they've been working on it for, what,
Like
fucking
6
10 years now?
Like,
Jesus fucking
6,
Christ.
7 years, maybe?
That would have been awesome.
But you would think this
but-
year would have been the perfect year to show off Last
Yeah,
Guardian if they were still working on
And
it.
especially since they did have, like, all the cancellation rumors and shit.
Yeah. But anyway, but they showed off Uncharted 4, so whatever. It's a CG trailer of Drake passed out in a jungle, and then he wakes up, and there's like a monologue with Sully. He's like, come on, Sully, one last hit, can we do this? And he's like, hell yeah, kid. And then he ventures off into the jungle, and he's all beaten up, and I don't know about you, but he looks a lot older than he used to. He looks like he's aged a bit.
He's gone through a lot, okay? Like, baby. No, like, and apparently it's gonna be about fucking pirates.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
like
gonna be
pirate
about
treasure.
fucking pirate treasure.
Why is everything about pirates
I
now?
don't... You know why? Because basically the coolest things that you can fucking do with a game is put dragons or dinosaurs in it, or put pirates in it, and you've basically sold me on your game.
Or dragon dinosaur pirates.
Yes! No, but like those are basically like the three things that you can do in a game where you basically sold everybody on your game. Because everybody loves pirates, everybody loves dinosaurs, and everybody loves dragons, and if you don't, you're stupid.
You bitch.
You bitch.
But anyway, that was... And then they showed... So they showed Drake walking off into the jungle, and then they pan over, and there are these, like, cages with, like, decaying skeletons in them, and it looks fucking creepy.
It looks like it's gonna be a lot fucking darker than the other ones, so... Fucking voodoo pirates? I don't know.
And then they showed off the official title, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, which...
I'm
They're
speculating...
implying that Drake's gonna die.
I'm speculating right now that he's gonna die.
Probably.
I'm sorry, but Drake's gonna die.
And then Uncharted will be over, and then they can move on to other stuff.
I don't want them to.
So yeah, that was Sony. What do you think about Sony? They had a good beginning and a great ending, but the middle just fucking almost ruined it.
The middle, I didn't think they were going to recover from, and then they got right into it with fucking
Batman.
Arkham Knight, and then they had fucking
Uncharted.
Like, they ended really strongly, and they started really strongly, but the fucking middle, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I honestly fell asleep. Because I actually have, like, no clue, like, other than what Shane just told you, like, what they talked about, because I was, like, passed out in my chair.
Who fucking knows?
And
But-
then Arkham Knight, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, cool.
So it's like they
They
started
recovered.
off really strongly with a lot of awesome games and a lot of awesome exclusives, like exclusive content that's only coming to PlayStation. And that's why I said earlier, I think that in terms of like getting exclusive content, Sony is like nailing it. They have all the exclusive shit on their versions.
Yeah, but I'd rather have exclusive games.
Yeah, true. But then
I don't know about you guys, but I would rather have the exclusive games, and then I don't really care about the content.
So
like the extra content.
Yeah, but like Sony at the beginning, they had a lot of really good games to show off and a lot of exclusive content to brag about, and then at the end they ended with a bang with Batman and Uncharted. But then the middle with all the media shit's like, I don't fucking care about PlayStation TV.
If they had announced or at least shown something of The Last Guardian, I think that they would have won. Basically,
yeah, totally.
Like, between Microsoft and Sony, they would have won, but I think Microsoft had the stronger press conference this year.
Yeah.
Because they said before E3 they were going to focus on the games.
And they kept that
and
promise.
The games, and the more games.
And the games I'd never heard of.
And it was completely games.
And Phantom Dust.
Which was nice.
And Phantom Dust.
Yeah, shut up. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, they promised games and they delivered, whereas Sony, they dropped the ball in the middle of the conference, and it was like, what the fuck is going on?
Alrighty, guys. Last conference, we're talking about Nintendo. So Nintendo had an interesting show this year.
Nintendo had an awesome show this year.
They had an awesome show this year.
I know they're not normally in the battle because it's usually between Sony and Microsoft, but I'm calling it right now. Nintendo won my heart right there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So Nintendo, they didn't have a live press conference this year. They had their digital event.
It was really cool.
And it was pretty awesome. They start with fucking Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it was awesome!
Yeah, they start with a fucking Robot Chicken sketch of Reggie coming out to the stage at E3, and he's talking about all the new games they're gonna announce, and all the Nintendo characters are in the back, like, talking about it. And then there's, like, the nerd in the front, it's like, give us Star Fox! Give us Mother! And then he turns into Fire Reggie and lights the kid on fire. That was cool.
You know what? I really liked how they did that, because it was funny. And
it was funny. It was charming.
Yeah, and it was funny through the whole thing. Like, they didn't, like, there was no dull moments in their press conference where I was like, wow, this is fucking boring. The fuck?
Yeah, and I really like how they got Robot Chicken to do some segments for them.
Yeah,
that shows
was really cool.
That show, yeah, it
shows devotion to their fans, and they know what their fans like. You know what I mean?
Nintendo's not afraid to have fun. Nintendo's not afraid to make fun of themselves sometimes.
Oh no, yeah.
So, and Reggie talked about the Mega 64 skit he did to like promote the digital event. I actually watched that yesterday, and it's like fucking Reggie's a cyborg.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
It's interesting. So yeah, they move on, and then they show this weird fucking segment with Reggie and Iwata fighting each other in this black space.
Yeah.
And they're like crazy ninja, like Dragon Ball Z fight. Mm-hmm. And then it goes directly into Smash Bros. And they announce that you can play as your Mii in Smash Bros. And the Miis will be fighters.
Which was really cool. And they didn't, like, other than the faces, like, they didn't really look like Miis. Like, they had a lot of, like...
They had build.
Because I know, like, people, as soon as he announced that you could play your Miis and stuff, people were tweeting about how, you know, well, they're just gonna have, like...
balls for hands.
They're just gonna have, like, boring movesets and, you know... shit like that. But then he came out and said, like, you can customize your moveset, you know, you can transfer your moveset between games and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And they didn't really look like Miis other than their faces.
Yeah,
like,
but
they were fully fleshed out, and it was kind of cool.
So yeah, and then they transfer to the game, and they have Reggie's Mii and Iwata's Mii fighting in the game, and then Reggie's kicking Iwata's ass. So Iwata pulls out this little Mario figurine, puts it on the gamepad, and then Mario transports it in the game and kicks Reggie's ass. We'll get to that later on. But then we go to Sakurai, the developer of Smash Bros., and he talks about the Mii fighters. Apparently, there will be 3 different classes of Mii fighters. There will be the Brawler, which is like hand-to-hand combat dude, the Gunner, which has like an arm cannon, and the Swordsman, which has like a sword as a weapon. And apparently these 3 different fighters will be 3 separate characters. And you can use any Mii you want on your system to play in the game.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So they showed off like a bunch of Miis that had like Barack Obama in there and fucking Ice-T and shit.
Can you imagine a fucking Smash Brothers fight between like Barack Obama and George W. Bush?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That would be so fucking fun.
So yeah, they announced that's going on. Mii Gunners, Mii Swordfighters, Mii Brawlers. And then they showed off a bunch of stuff for the 3DS version of Smash. Apparently it's going to have a new mode called Smash Run. They showed off a bunch of that, where it's kind of like 5 minutes in like an adventure field maze, and you grab a bunch of power-ups. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, you fight a bunch of people with those stat boosts, which is really cool. And then they showed the release date for Smash Bros. 3D. It was supposed to come out in the summer, but now it's been pushed back to October 3rd. And there's
which I liked though because the one for Wii is coming out in December, so it's not as big as of a gap.
It's not like a half a year gap.
Because you can't expect people to go buy like the 3DS version and then want to go out and buy the Wii version too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that they pushed it back a little bit to have more of a correspondence between the dates.
So Smash Bros. 3DS is now coming out on October 3rd, and the Wii U version they said holiday, so probably November, December. And then they showed off that, remember that Mario figurine? They showed off that that's a new line of figurines made by Nintendo called Amiibos, which are going to be, it's basically their version of Skylanders, where there's a chip built into every figure that can be scanned onto the gamepad, and certain games will take advantage of this stuff, where you can download data from that figure into the game and vice versa. So, like, you can make a custom, like a custom moveset for a character in Smash Bros, and then transfer it to a figurine, and you can always have that on you.
Yeah, and then, like, if you go to, like, your friend's house and you're playing or whatever, you can load up your custom moveset into their game, too. It's actually
awesome.
Really cool.
It's really cool.
And I think, it's for 3DS, too. I think they
Yeah, it's for 3DS and Wii U.
Yeah, because there's a chip on the 3DS, too.
Yeah, and they also said that other games will support it, and they said that Mario Kart 8 will be one of those games.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that. Because it's interesting.
Yarn Yoshi! So they showed up, they announced this Yarn Yoshi game a little while ago, I think last year, but they showed off the first gameplay of it. It's called Yoshi's Woolly World. It's basically Yoshi's Island, but in the style of Kirby's Epic Yarn.
I fucking cried. It looks so awesome.
And they showed off a lot of cool things. Instead of eggs, you'll have balls of yarn that you can throw around.
It's so
cool. One thing I noticed is that you can take like balls of yarn, and there are like object outlines in the world for like pipes, and you throw a yarn ball at them, and then
it fucking like knits whatever you fucking want it to. It's awesome, and I totally cried. It looks beautiful.
And they also said that there will be a 2-player mode. So there's 2-player co-op, and then the co-op partners can eat each other and throw them up to higher ledges and shit. It was super fucking cute and charming, and I love it.
It looks really good.
I fucking love it.
Really good.
I want it. I want it all over me.
You know what I noticed about IGN's stream was that fucking Nintendo was in like actually high def, and then the rest weren't. We had problems seeing faces early on. We were like, nice face there.
Well, then again, a lot of them were in front of like these LED boards.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, next off they show Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
I'm interested for that because it kind of looks like what they did with Mario Galaxy, but like obviously they took a different spin with it. But I think it has some of the same mechanics and stuff.
But this is a spin-off title. Going off of what they did in 3D World, because in 3D World you had these special Captain Toad adventure stages where you could get like a bunch of green stars. It looks like they're taking that and making it into its own game for the Wii U. And it looks really cool, and it's coming out this holiday season.
And I'm excited. I want a Wii U now. I totally want a Wii U.
Are you ready to shit yourself?
Yes.
Zelda.
I know, it looks so pretty!
So they have... I
cried!
Yes.
I cried again.
So they come out and they talk about Zelda for Wii U, and one of the main developers, I think it's the main developer for Zelda, he was talking about how in the old games there was this big feeling of exploration, and it was this feeling of like...
And they wanted to recapture that feeling in the new one, and they did.
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
Yeah, so they talked about in the old games, there was this big feeling of like open world exploration because it was a big open world and everything was connected. And they felt that in the transition to 3D, they lost some of that feeling, so they want to bring it back. So then they showed off the first in-engine footage of Zelda for Wii U, and it looks fucking gorgeous. So they said that this game will be entirely open world. If you see anything in the distance, you can go to it at any point
because
you want.
they cut into in-engine footage, and it was Link on his horse just standing there for a little while, and he was pointing out like there was like huge mountains in the distance, and he's like, you're gonna be able to go and climb on those, and it just looks beautiful.
It's fucking pretty.
And then obviously like this big fucking, I don't even know what the hell
it was
kind
like
of
a fucking
monster
robot.
it was. It was kind of awesome looking, and it totally attacked him, and I love the art style. I love the art style that they went to.
Yeah,
it's more of an anime style now. Mm-hmm. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, so basically they cut the in-engine footage, and eventually there's this big like tentacle robot monster that starts attacking Link, and it's like shooting lasers and setting shit on fire. And then Link starts fighting it with his fucking laser arrows and shit.
Yeah, it was like fucking Tron arrows or some shit. It was
But
awesome.
then they show Link's face, and then there's the whole speculation that came about. Is like, is this Link? Is Link a girl? It's like, who is this?
Yeah, but you know what? If you think about it, Link's always been, like, since they went 3D, he's kind of...
Feminine.
No, he's not been feminine. He's been more androgynous. Like,
Yeah, true enough.
You know what I mean? Like, there's not...
There's, like, factors of both gender in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, and especially with the more anime art style that they went to, like, I don't see the big problem with it. Because
I don't really care.
Link, to me, has always been pretty androgynous. Like, you could not necessarily take it either way, but he's got, like, features of both genders. Like, he's got effeminate features and he's got masculine features, so, I mean, I don't know, it wasn't a big deal for me.
Yeah,
it looks
me neither.
so pretty, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So then, after that, they said that Zelda for Wii U is coming out next year, 2015.
And I'm gonna cry, because
we're
I
gonna
don't
get-
have a Wii U.
And we're gonna get a fucking Wii U this year.
We're getting a Wii U.
Next, they showed off Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
And I don't care if it's a remake of fucking Ruby and Sapphire. I don't
want it.
care. It's awesome.
Yeah, so they showed off a gameplay trailer of that, and they announced the official release date of November 21st this year.
I know. It's so close, though, because fucking X and Y just
Came out
released.
last November.
And, like, I would love it if Pokemon was on a yearly schedule.
Yeah, true.
That would be awesome.
Just imagine, like, next year they announced Pokemon Z.
That would be awesome, though. I mean, like, obviously Pokemon games are huge, and it takes you a long time to fucking get through them, especially if you buy both.
Oh, yeah.
Because they always come out in pairs, usually.
Yeah, if we get a 3DS, we each have to
Yeah.
get a different version.
But, like, I know Pokemon games are huge, but honestly, if they went to, like, a yearly schedule or even, like, a year and a half between, like, sets, that would be awesome. There would be a huge market for that because people just buy up Pokemon games.
yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And, like, Pokemon never gets old to
No,
fans.
I know.
They
People
just keep buying it and
buy
buying
them.
it. So, yes, November 21st for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Next, they showed off the first gameplay trailer of Bayonetta 2, which is still coming out.
actually looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They're bundling it.
Yeah, they are. They announced, obviously, Bayonetta 2 is a Wii U exclusive. They announced it's coming out in October, and apparently they're including the original Bayonetta. They're porting the original Bayonetta and including it in the
Yeah, they're
second one.
remastering it for Wii U. It's kind of cool.
And then apparently the original is going to have like exclusive Nintendo costumes she can wear. So they showed Bayonetta's wearing like Peach's dress and like Samus's armor and shit. It looked fucking ridiculous, but whatever. So yeah, that's coming out in October. And then they talked about Hyrule Warriors, which is their like Zelda Dynasty Warriors like crossover spin-off kind of thing.
You know who looks fucking awesome in that? Zelda. Princess Zelda. She
Yeah.
looks badass. I don't know,
Anything else you want?
I don't really know much about it, other than, like, obviously we saw there was, some trailers and stuff like that they showed off, and, you know, I've seen character designs, and, you know, like, Zelda looks really cool, and you can play as fucking Midna, and she's got, like, a Twilight Wolf with her. I'm pretty sure it's not Link, but...
It's probably not Link.
It's a Twilight Wolf. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd play it, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, obviously this isn't a Zelda game.
No.
It's a Dynasty Warriors game with, like, Zelda characters.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more action-oriented and, like, crazy combos and a lot of shit going on. They announced an official... Well, obviously they announced the new playable characters. Along with Link, you'll play as Zelda, Impa,
Yeah,
and
Impa's
Midna.
cool.
And they announced the release date of September 26th for the Wii U.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd play it, but it actually looks pretty cool.
And then they showed off a new Kirby game for the Wii U, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which is basically... It looks like a sequel to Kirby's Canvas Curse on the DS.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going for like a kind of clay
Yeah,
animation style.
It
It
looks
looked
really interesting, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, and they showed off a gameplay trailer, and he has like a bunch of different transformations, like a bird and shit.
Yeah.
And like, basically, it's gonna use the gamepad where you like draw lines and like guide Kirby around the levels. That's coming out next year.
You know what I noticed about Nintendo is that they're really they're pushing the gamepad more. You know what I mean? Because like there's a lot of interesting features that they've added to games that makes you use the gamepad more. Because I think that was the big issue with a lot of the stuff that they previously released was that, yeah, the gamepad's cool and all, but you can play with a Wiimote.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that they would just eventually drop the gamepad to try and boost sales.
I think they're gonna.
But with the games
push it more.
Yeah, with the games they showed off, it looks like they're still pushing it. Next up, the last year's E3 they announced this game called X. This year they announced it's called Xenoblade Chronicles X, which apparently the Xenoblade games are like big in Japan.
I have never played a Xenoblade game, so I'm
not really interested. I have no fucking clue. But that's coming out next year, apparently. Oh, apparently it was delayed. It was supposed to come out this year.
Oh.
But it's coming out next year now. And they announced Mario Maker, which was really fucking cool.
I know. I was on Twitter.
It's like fucking Mario Paint.
Or yesterday or the day before, I think Felicia Day was playing it.
Really?
Yeah, she was at the Nintendo booth and she played Mario Maker and all of the other crap.
Yeah.
And she said like it's really fucking cool. And even from like what they showed, it looked really cool.
So basically, what Mario Maker is, it's kind
and you can flip between. I think there was a feature where you could flip between like old school Mario and like the new new Mario Brothers shit.
Yeah. So basically, what Mario Maker is, it's kind of like in the same vein of Mario Paint. It's like create your own kind of stuff, but with this one, Mario Maker, you can basically create your own Mario levels from scratch. And obviously it's going to have like a lot of like online connectivity with like people sharing their levels over like Nintendo Wi-Fi. And basically they showed that you can basically make any kind of Mario level you want. And again, it uses the gamepad where you can use the stylus and place blocks and shit. And it also showed that when you actually play the levels, you can switch between classic 8-bit Mario style or New Super Mario Bros. U, which is cool. So this to me sounds like Nintendo's Little Big Planet, but with Mario. Just like a bunch of people making
Yeah, but you know how well that's going to market?
Oh, it's going to market so well.
Everybody's going to buy that.
Yeah. Okay, just imagine. With this, you may never have to buy another Mario game ever again.
Yeah, because you could...
You can just...
Well, yeah, you could just, like, recreate, like, whatever.
Because you can make your own levels, and then tons of other people will make their own crazy levels.
Yeah, and you can make your own, like, huge fucking game.
It's just an endless Mario game that anyone can make, which is awesome. That's coming out next year. And then they showed off Splatoon, which I really liked.
I really like that, too.
Splatoon, it's a third-person shooter on the Wii U, but it's not like actual guns. It's basically extreme paintball.
Yeah.
What they showed is it's a 4v4 multiplayer online game where the entire objective is you have a gun full of like paint or ink. The entire objective is to spray the environment with ink, and whatever team has the most ink in the environment wins. And they also showed that it's really cool to traverse through the environment because you can turn into a squid when you're in the ink, and you can swim through it to get around faster.
Yeah, because the characters are squids.
Yeah.
They're like squid / like humanoid kind of characters. So it's really cool. The gameplay mechanics are pretty cool on it.
Like, that looks really fun. I would play that.
Yeah, I would totally play that.
And like they had this really cool feature where on the gamepad it's like a big map. So not only can you see like how much ink each team has on the battlefield, but you can also see where your allies are. You
can see what everybody's doing, even the other team in like real time. Yeah.
And then
I think you can see the other team too, but you can definitely see like your allies and like where they're spraying and like where their ink's going in real time as you're playing.
Yeah. And then also you can on the gamepad, you can tap any of your teammates, and you'll instantly teleport to them, so you can like join in on the action. So it looks really fast and fun, and it just looks
like a really fun game.
It's a fun shooter. Like a lot of shooters are way too serious and like gory nowadays. Yeah. Nintendo's doing it right. Like anyone could enjoy this.
Like pretty typical, like for this E3, shooters become pretty typical, and just in general they become pretty typical. So they took that and the spin they put on it.
Yeah, they gave it a pretty cool twist.
And it would be family friendly too. So like kids could play it too.
Yeah.
So I really liked what they did with that. That was interesting.
And that's coming out next year in 2015. Let's see. Oh, and then they go back to Smash Bros. And they have this really cool anime-style animated video of Link fighting Pit. And then all of a sudden, fucking Pit's getting his ass kicked. And then Palutena shows up, which is like Pit's, like, I don't know how you would call it. She basically looks over Pit in Kid Icarus.
Oh, okay.
And they announced that Lady Palutena is going to be playable in the new Smash Bros, which a lot of people before E3 I saw were predicting that she was going to be announced. So she's confirmed for both versions.
That's cool.
And then that was pretty much the end of the conference, and Reggie said, hey, come by the Nintendo booth and check out our games, check out the Smash Bros. Invitational, which was really cool, I watched that. And also, tune in later to Nintendo Treehouse Live, where all the developers will be talking about the games we announced. And then they ended it, but wait, there's more. At the very end, they showed Miyamoto in his office working with the gamepad, and he's like, oh, hello, I'm working on a lot of new games for Wii U that are really going to take advantage of this gamepad technology. And, like, you look in the background, and his monitor's kind of blurred out, and then you, like, if you look really closely, you can see, like, a bunch of, like, spaceships flying around shooting lasers. It's a new Star Fox.
Did they officially
announced,
okay.
yes.
I wasn't sure if it was just like fan speculation or
it
whether
was,
they actually announced it.
It was rumored before E3 that they would announce a new Star Fox, and then they kind of teased that it might have been Star Fox. But as you can see here in this article, there's like a picture of Miyamoto on the show floor with the Star Fox demo. So yeah, they officially announced that finally a new Star Fox game is in development for Wii U. And apparently a lot more details came out about it, that on the TV, it's going to be your normal Star Fox, like third person, you can see the ship flying around and shit. But on the gamepad, it'll be like a cockpit view from inside the R-Wing, which is really cool. This is the first Star Fox game in, like 8 or 9 years?
It's been a while.
So to see that they're finally bringing it back for the new console, a lot of people were happy with that. And with that, that's pretty much Nintendo's E3. They announced some other stuff on the show floor, like Mario Party 10. I saw the gameplay trailer, but it's stupid. They're doing the same thing they did with 9, with the whole car thing for 10.
Yeah.
So, no thank you. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for Nintendo, and that pretty much wraps up all the press conferences. How would you rate E3 this year?
I don't know.
Well,
there was a lot of... They focused more on the games this year, obviously. There was a lot of interesting games announced, and I really liked that it was more game-oriented.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, this is our console, this is what you can do with it. Oh, and then Sony's like, well, fuck you, Microsoft. But, I don't know.
Well, let's see.
It made me want to get all 3 consoles.
Definitely.
So, I mean, that's always, like... indicative of how good it was. I now totally want an Xbox One, a PS4, and a Wii U, and a 3DS.
But
maybe a Vita. Who knows?
Who knows? Microsoft had a solid conference with a lot of good games.
Definitely.
EA.
I'm giving them a higher rating than I normally would, just because fucking Dragon Age and Mass Effect 4, they like confirmed Mass Effect 4, and that they like it was actually like pretty far along in development, and their new IP.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see what that new IP is. Like, you have no idea.
But yeah, Ubisoft had a good conference for the most part.
Yeah, it was.
Other than Just Dance.
Solid.
But
I mean, the Just Dance sequence, it wasn't that bad.
Sony, they had a good conference, other than that chunk in the middle where they just dragged. But other than that, they had some good stuff that they showed off, and Nintendo was just all around great.
I'm gonna say, and normally, like, obviously, it's only, like, a battle between Microsoft and Sony, but honestly, I think Nintendo won.
Yeah, Nintendo did a great job this year.
Because, like, they catered to their fans, and, you know, they brought in, and, you know, it wasn't a lot of, like, third-party stuff, but everything looked really good. And they didn't announce a new Super Mario Bros. U2.
No,
like,
they didn't.
that kind of crap. I really want to see a new Paper Mario, though.
Yeah, true. Well, they just had a Paper Mario come out.
I know, but I really want another one. I love Paper Mario.
But yeah, I thought Nintendo did a great job this year. The Direct, the whole digital event went really well.
Yeah.
It was really cool. The whole, like...
It was a different take on the traditional press conference.
Yeah, they showed off a lot of games, but they also had fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
You can tell Nintendo has fun with everything they do. With the Robot Chicken sketches and that Miyamoto, that Iwata Reggie fight, that was ridiculous. So Nintendo's conference, that was really cool and charming. And overall, I think there wasn't too much that was just this year.
Yeah, and there wasn't, like, my big negative was there wasn't a lot that was, like, shocking.
True enough.
They dropped a huge bomb and everybody freaked out. I mean, they had Rainbow Six, but that had been speculated. You know, so
we already knew about Uncharted.
We already knew that Uncharted 4 was coming. We just didn't know whether we'd see, like, concrete stuff or we'd see another fucking, like, map trailer like what
here's
they
a
did
map.
before. Like, you know, there wasn't a lot of stuff where they just dropped a bomb and you were like, what in the fuck just happened?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? And, like, I think Nintendo and Microsoft for me are pretty equal for E3, other than I didn't like about Microsoft's was that they didn't explain a lot of their stuff. Because they'd fucking play a trailer for a game and I'd be like, well, I wanted to hear more about that, and then they'd skip right into another trailer.
Yeah, true enough.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I thought overall E3 this year was pretty solid. There was a lot of good stuff that was shown off. A lot of this new stuff that was announced was, you know, like you said, there wasn't the big bombshell, but a lot of the new, like, unannounced stuff was pretty cool. Like, a new Crackdown, Rainbow Six,
just some of, like,
you know,
the
stuff
brand
like that.
new IPs that, you know, got announced
Yeah.
and everything.
And then obviously stuff from last year that they announced that got more stuff shown off, like Assassin's Creed, Sunset Overdrive, Far Cry, you know.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the stuff that they announced last year took a back burner because they were all, you know, this is our new console, this is what you can do with it, here's some games, here's what you can do with our console. You know
TV,
what I mean?
TV! Here's a game, maybe TV!
Yeah, like, I liked that there was more of a focus on the games.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah, so overall, I thought E3 was great this year, and there was a lot of good stuff shown off. So, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I give it a double thumbs up. I really liked it. There
Me
was
too.
a lot of cool stuff, and now I kind of
I want all three consoles.
I don't even care.
I know, I was really harsh on the Xbox One when it first launched
But you
because
know
of all
what?
the shit they tried to throw in there,
They've
but
got
now
a lot of good exclusives coming out. And
I want fucking Sunset.
Yeah.
I want to play that. Fuck.
There's just a lot of things that they announced this E3 that, you know, makes me want to buy one. I wanted one to begin with. I wasn't one of the naysayers. I kind of wanted one, but
yeah.
now I totally want one.
So yeah, 2 thumbs up from BGN. Good job with E3 this year. Can't wait to see what else is going to be announced throughout the rest of the year till next E3.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure there's other stuff coming out too.
So yeah, with that said, I guess we'll wrap up our E3 special for 2014, our second annual E3 special. We'll definitely do this again next year. And just like last year, it ran just about 2 hours. So, with that said, we'll wrap things up here. I'm the Beer One, this is Bones.
Bye.
And we hope you guys had a great E3, and we'll see you next week. Keep on gaming, guys. How dare you flick the mic?